All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today, and as always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. We'll be here till about, 9 tonight? About 9. Now today, we're going to talk about the World Boxing Super Series brackets are out for the new divisions. Wait till you hear the fights. I can't wait. The Zone will debut in the U.S. in September. What can we expect? We'll let you know. Robert is really excited about this. Correct, Robert?
No.
All right. Well, we'll get to that pretty soon. But first, we get started with the World Boxing Super Series. Alexander Usyk versus Murat Gassiev, 12 rounds for the Undisputed Cruiserweight title. Usyk dominated this fight, man. I tell you what, he won a unanimous decision by the scores of 120 to 108 and 119 to 109 twice. I had the fight scored 119 to 109 twice. I didn't have it scored twice. I only had it scored once. So I had it the same as the judges. Usyk, to me, just boxed really well through the entire fight. The movement that he used was just brilliant. Gassiev looked like he wanted to start fast. That's what I heard the plan was, because Usyk's a little bit slow starter, but he couldn't get off. And it seemed to me, and Beeb, correct me if I'm wrong, it just seemed to me that he was following Usyk around the entire fight, and he wasn't cutting off the ring. He was just following him, you know?
Yeah.
He was following him around and just getting countered. Unable to cut off the ring. And he also, and Beeb, we were talking during the fight, you said it, it looked like he was getting tired toward the later rounds. I know my father and I were watching the fight, and we were talking about it, and we were thinking, Gassiev's doing some body work early on. You know, he was putting in some body shots, and we're thinking maybe in round 7, that's when he's going to get started. That's when he's going to start, picking up the pace and that kind of thing. And it looked like the other way around, like he got tired in later rounds.
He did.
And Usyk, so Usyk wins the unanimous decision. B, what were your thoughts on this fight?
Well, Usyk, I already knew he was a very, very talented fighter, but he put it on full display yesterday. The jab was incredible, and a lot. We talk about the jab so much, and it becomes so repetitive that you hear the old adage and the old cliche that the jab is the most important punch in boxing, but no one really breaks it down, why it's so important and the nuances to it that some fighters have and bring into the ring with them. When you look at Usyk and you look at the hand positioning, keeps that almost like Lennox Lewis used to do. Keep that lead hand really out there. A lot of guys will keep it too close and it has to travel a farther distance. Usyk's able to just spear you with it, and he stabs you with it, and he really gets your attention with it. It doesn't have to travel far, so it's really hard to block all of them when they're coming at you, because it's like pop, 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 pop. It's like a little battering ram there. It's like a stiletto, so to speak. It's just like a knife coming at you, and you just can't really stop it. And you talked about the movement. And he does just enough movement that's how to really keep himself in range and take himself out of range and really create the angles for himself to get the proper leverage and proper spacing on his punches. And he's not repetitive at all. He throws some of the most unpredictable combinations that you would think of. Southpaws tend to not really throw a lot of right hooks, or at least not off of their jabs. And he has that really unorthodox sweeping left hook, and doesn't really always land it flush, but it's a punch that creates openings for him because it forces his opponent to have to change hand positioning, and right off of that right hook, a lot of times he'll sneak that uppercut in there just because he's trying to open you up, and he's very successful at doing that. So I think Usyk is a very, very sophisticated fighter. He's a hard guy to figure out because the attack patterns are so different from punch sequence to punch sequence. He's always changing the look, always changing directions. he'll move one way, and then on the turn of a dime, move another way. It's really just hard to catch up with him, and you do end up following him around the ring because it's hard to anticipate where he's going to go. It's hard to beat this guy to the spot because he's constantly changing things up. He's very unpredictable. He's got decent punching power, but he's very disciplined. You know what I'm saying? He's disciplined, steps in with shots, kind of creeps up on you, and before you know it, he's hit you with a 3 or 4 piece. And you're like, where are these punches coming from? So my hat goes off to Gassiev because he tried very hard. And he must have been getting discouraged in there, but he kept his poker face on, and he kept plodding forward and trying to do the best he could. He just couldn't catch up to Usyk. So my hat goes off to both fighters. It was a very entertaining fight. And, it was a very warm moment at the end, seeing Muhammad Ali's wife in there giving Usyk the trophy. That almost brought a tear to my eye. It was kind of an emotional thing. I thought it was a very powerful moment. And it kind of just puts the stamp on this beautiful tournament. What a way to end the tournament with a great fight, and also having Muhammad Ali's wife present that trophy to Usyk. It was just a very touching moment. And I really enjoyed the whole series, the whole tournament, and it was beautiful.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it, man. And all of the fights. I mean, we all watched all the fights and everything like that. I mean, it was awesome. It was just a great. This is what boxing needs. And I've always said, like, I always love, like, Robert and we always talked about the Boxino tournament and how, like, you get in there and there's, they're not necessarily the, some of them maybe you heard of, some of them maybe you haven't. This is like all top tier fighters, man. These are all good fighters. So yeah, I mean, it was.
And the beautiful thing about it, Eric, not to cut you off.
No.
But if you remember the Super Six, there was a lot of there's people that, like, Butte wasn't in it, and then when we had some fighters dropped out, they had other fighters come in that probably you would say maybe didn't deserve to be there. Every fighter deserves. That was pretty much every fighter in this tournament deserved to be there. Everyone showed up. All 4 belts were on the line. It wasn't like 1 or 2 of the belts were missing. Right. Like in the Super Six, the IBF was missing, and I think the WBO was missing. Yeah. But everyone was there. Every champion showed up. All the belts were there, and that made the tournament that much more special, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, when the winner is getting crowned, all 4 belts, the Muhammad Ali trophy, the first winner of the WBSS. I mean, what more could you want, man?
Yeah.
Just let me sidetrack here. Greg Waters in the chat is up at midnight. I'm assuming he's in the UK, and we just want to thank all you guys so much, man, for listening in the UK. And Greg, thank you for listening to us and staying up till midnight. Wow, that's really something. So thank you so much, man.
That's dedication, man. We
absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Love it. So thank you guys so much. Robert, shame on you, because it wasn't even too long ago. It wasn't even too long ago that you said we should abolish the cruiserweight division. You said that there's no reason to have the cruiserweights at all.
No, that was the one and only Eric Lourdes who said that. Everybody go back to the beginning and listen to the beginning shows, and you'll hear that.
I think I deleted that out of the queue. I don't think so.
But honestly, I got to watch some of these fights because DirecTV offered us some of these. I just wish that there was a permanent outlet for all of these great fights. I mean, these tournaments sound wonderful, but putting them on the internet, I don't, look, I'm old fashioned. I like my stuff on my TV.
Right.
I understand why they're doing it. I understand they can reach all kinds of people nowadays, but I love having fights on my big screen TV.
Sure.
And I don't want to watch them on a computer. I don't want to watch them on a phone. I want them on my TV, man, without having to spend extra to do it.
Well, let me tell you this. Too, is that the fight was available in the U.S. The Usyk versus Gassiev fight. It was available on the U.S. on the U.S. side. And typically all these, now, am I correct in saying that all of these fights were on YouTube?
Before, I thought they were, yes.
Right, and they showed the entire card. I mean, it wasn't I mean, they showed the entire card, you know, so it was really cool. They from top to bottom. And I'll tell you what, the other thing about this show is that all of the fights on there, all the cards that they put together were good. They were solid fights, and they were solid.
Yes, they were.
There,
they were.
They really were. So I mean, you weren't just waiting for the main event. You know, I mean, they had good co-mains and everything like that. They were all like solid fights, man. Good matchmaking, everything.
Yeah.
But now what irritates me, and to Robert's point, the last fights will not be available on YouTube anymore. They were available on Cloud TV. Okay. Cloud TV I believe is that out of Germany, Beeb? I don't know.
I think it's Europe somewhere. I think it is Germany, to be honest with you. I think it is based out of Germany.
They were speaking were speaking German on my TV. So I got the German feed, Beeb. Of course, you were lucky enough to get the US feed. But it was $10.
Yeah, I bought it.
It was $10. You know, and I think that really kind of put a sour taste in my mouth, because I was determined I am not going to pay $10 to watch this fight. You know, I said, that's ridiculous, because we watched the fight. I mean, you should have kept it, to me, I don't know, to me, you kept it on YouTube all this time until the finals.
Yeah. It's almost like a tease. It was a tease.
Yeah, why not just put the finals on YouTube and then start with DAZN or wherever you're going to go after this?
Yeah.
Then we can pay for it. But I mean, at least do that. I mean, that to me was kind of shit.
They came out of left field with that cloud thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish that a major network would get behind this stuff, you know, and instead of offering guys like Eddie Hearn all kinds of money to put all your fights on one place. You know, it just boggles my mind. Each week we have to figure out, when we go through the upcoming fights, okay, this fight's going to be here. This fight's going to be there. Oh, no TV here. No TV there. Right. I mean, no other sport that I know of is run like this. You know, I mean, this is why boxing is kind of in the backwoods. They don't have any major agreements with people, and if they do, it's kind of like, well, we'll give you this and we'll give you that. Well, but we're going to throw a few strings in the mix. Really? No other sports fan for no other sport has to work this hard to find the stuff they want to watch each week. I think boxing is always going to stay in the shadows until somebody gets their act together. It's really irritating for somebody that's followed the sport for almost 45 years, and like in my case, I can't stand it.
You know what's funny though is that there was no, and I could see it here with the World Boxing Super Series, because there was no Americans in there. There was no Americans in that first round. You know,
I understand that, yeah.
And you know, but in the second round, you know, we have who's it in the second round? Ivan Baranchek, I know we've seen on our TV before. Josh Taylor, we've seen on our TV before. Ryan Martin, Terry Flanagan, Regis Prograis. You know, we've seen a lot of these guys. Juan Carlos Piano. Anyway, is not very well known. No Nito Donaire. I mean, this is stuff that like HBO or Showtime really should be picking up. Yeah. And maybe it's the commitment. Maybe it's the commitment because it is a tournament setting. Maybe it is. Maybe that turns them off because they want a guaranteed fight. I don't know.
You know, I wish we had like they have in the UK with Box Nation or even Sky Sports. I wish we had an outlet that would say, we're dedicated to boxing. We're going to show you all these fights.
Well, Beeb,
you know, without having to jump through hoops.
Interesting that you say that, because Beeb, you bought Cloud TV for the week or whatever, or for the month, because you paid for the month. That was the other thing that irritated me about Cloud TV. Yeah. You could watch this fight, all right, and they usually give you a week for free, like a free trial, but not during fight week.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was ridiculous. That to me, and that was what sealed it for me. And I'm like, I'm not giving them any money.
You know,
but you bought Cloud TV. They have the Fight Network listed on Cloud TV. Did you
Yes.
catch any of that, or what is that?
The Fight Network, to my knowledge, is just a lot of commentary. They don't actually put live events on there, or if they do, I think they're low-level events. They're not top-tier events that you're going to see on that. Yeah, that's not like a. I think actually Billy C. the kid that was talking about Billy C. last week. I think he actually his show is on there. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's not
show on there.
No shade to Billy C. I'm just saying it's not like you're gonna see Dan Raphael or
why don't we put
Bernardo Astuna on there.
Messed up, man. That's cold-blooded.
Maybe you'll see Michelle Joy Phelps on there one day, possibly. I don't know. But we ain't gonna go there.
Beeb with the lightning.
Here's the problem, a potential problem, possibly, with all of these outlets showing boxing. Because there is a concern that I have, and there should be a concern out there for people in the business, that possibly you're oversaturating the market. There's just too many avenues, too many places to go. Some people will say, well, that's a good thing. But if you look at it in the other way, it's like how many subscriptions do you want to pay for? Everyone has HBO and Showtime already, right? Everyone already has ESPN, right? Everyone has Fox Sports and all that stuff. It's in most people's cable packages. So we got used to seeing these fights on channels that we already had included in our cable packages. So now on top of that, you're asking us to pay for these monthly subscriptions. So the big problem here is, are these fights going to be better than the ones that are shown on Showtime and HBO and ESPN? Because they're going to be competing against channels that are much more prominent worldwide. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be tough to make people go back into their wallets to pay $9.99. A lot of people like the ESPN Plus app because it has a lot of American sports on there, right. and Americans can relate to that. And plus, it's only if you pay up front the whole year, and it's only like $4.16 a month instead of $10 a month. You know what I mean? And that DAZN app is going to have a lot of sports that people in the United States probably won't be interested in. And the fighters that they've signed, I don't want to go too far deep because I'll hold off on what I'm saying. Yeah. But let me just say I'm concerned about the market being oversaturated. Right. And then we transition into talking about DAZN later. I can elaborate further. I don't want to talk too much.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this though. Like Box Nation, and Robert, you mentioned Box Nation. Box Nation charges $16 US dollars. 12 pounds 60. It would be roughly equivalent to 15.77. So 16 US dollars a month. And you say, well, that solves all my boxing problems, but it doesn't, because they have Sky TV as well, where they put pay-per-views and everything like that on there. So they're kind of in the same boat. Right. All right, let's move on. We'll save this for later here. Cecilia Breakhouse versus Inna Sagayadovska. Beeb, did you know this girl's name?
But I don't know.
I didn't know this girl's name. That's hard to pronounce it.
The Kopskaya. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what her name is. Breakhouse won a unanimous decision by the scores of 98-92 twice and 97-93. It was pretty one-sided. It was a typical Breakhouse fight. I like watching Breakhouse fight. I like watching her do press conferences. I like watching her walk to the ring. Beeb, what were your thoughts on this fight? Anything major from this?
It was very one-sided, and Breakus is a very patient fighter. She's not going to change her style up for anyone. She came over the United States, and it was the first time I think she's fought on United States television, if I'm not mistaken. She got knocked down, but she got up and went back to her game plan. She's a very disciplined fighter. She moves very well. She likes to go in and out a lot. She's a big combination puncher. She's not a heavy hitter, but she's a very sharp, accurate puncher, very technically sound. And this was a very one-sided fight. with all due respect to her opponent, she was just overmatched. But I like watching Breakus fight because she always puts on a very technical, very entertaining performance. She's an outstanding fighter. I think she's a very outstanding fighter.
Tom Loeffler is her promoter, by the way.
There you go.
Correct.
The show.
Correct.
All right, Maris Briedis versus Brandon DeSalyers. 10 rounds, cruiserweights, unanimous decision for Briedis. This was odd because no scores were announced. Briedis clearly won the fight, so there was no jerkery there. But, there were no scores announced after the fight. So I went to BoxRec to find out the scores. They didn't have them either. So no scores were announced. But, I mean, it was pretty it was a good fight for Briedis. I mean, he won the fight. DeSalyers, he was in the fight. He was trying, but Briedis is a good fighter, man. And Beeb, you had mentioned this too. We thought it was a good thing that he was on the undercard. That they
that was cool.
on this undercard on this platform.
That was awesome. I gave him a fight,
because he put up a good fight in his last outing. So, what were your thoughts on Briedis, and who would you like to see him fight next?
Well, I thought Briedis made a very good account of himself in the tournament, and I think he could jump right back into the mix. I wouldn't be against another Usyk fight. I mean, not an Usyk fight. Excuse me. I wouldn't be against Usyk fight. Yeah, that's correct. I wouldn't be against another Usyk fight. I think he deserves a rematch. I thought the fight was competitive enough where entertaining enough where it could be a good fight for him. And we talked about this before the show. I thought that he put up a better fight than Gassiev did against Usyk, right? So how interesting would it be a Gassiev Briedis fight? Who would you pick in that one? That's another 50-50 fight.
Solid fight.
So so the division, is heating up a little bit. I think this tournament put a bright light on this division, and hopefully it gets some shine from this side of the pond. I'm not against Usyk eventually moving up to heavyweight either. He's a decent size. He's not one of those big heavyweights that we're used to seeing in today's market. But I think he's skilled enough where he could possibly give a lot of guys problems. I think he can hold his own.
There you go. Now let's move to the HBO card. It was Jaime Munguia versus Liam Smith for the WBO junior middleweight title. I'll tell you what, man. Chakal from Tijuana asked me, he says, who do you think is going to win this fight? And I said, Munguia by murder. And so I said, man, I tell you what, I said, I think for sure he's knocking this guy out.
Yeah.
Case, man, this fight was a little tougher than I thought it would be, man. Munguia seemed really confused in the early part of this fight. Smith did a great job of moving and countering. But at the end of the day, man, Munguia's pressure, but I think his power really proved to be the difference.
Yeah.
That pressure and his power really proved to be the difference. Final scores were 116, 111, 119, 110, and 119, 108, all for Munguia. I thought he did a really good job. I really did. I mean, they were kind of tough on him and everything like that on Munguia. But let me tell you what, I thought Liam Smith did a great job too. Because Liam Smith was completely outclassed by Canelo, and I thought that was it for him. I really did. I could watch Liam Smith again. Beeb, what were your thoughts?
Well, Liam Smith is a good fighter. I thought he made a good account of himself against Canelo early in the fight, and then Canelo just hurt him badly, and then it was a wrap. The thing about Liam Smith is he's a very good offensive fighter, but he's got a very leaky defense. He likes standing in the pocket. He likes gambling, with his opponent. He likes to trade. Moves his head a little bit, but again, he's got a very leaky defense. And I think that Munguia was very confident that he would be able to withstand Liam Smith's power. I'm not going to say he didn't respect Liam Smith, but he wasn't overly concerned with moving forward and taking chances and fighting a very aggressive fight against Liam Smith, because he probably felt, and evidence suggested that he felt as though he could walk through Liam Smith's punches, and he really did. I mean, he wasn't really never staggered and never hurt, wasn't really moved back at all in this fight. He's another fighter like Jarrett Hurd. Reminds me of a Margarito. These guys just come, put the mental, physical pressure on you, wear you down. Munguia, I think, is probably a better body puncher than Margarito, and possibly even a better body puncher than Jarrett Hurd, although Jarrett Hurd's a very good body puncher too. But Munguia really commits to that body. But one problem, I should say, one of the two problems, I should say, because he has a leaky defense too. He sometimes wings those shots a little bit, opens them up, really wide, and telegraphs them a little bit. There's a little bit of torque to those shots, and they're really sweeping punches sometimes, and he can get countered. But he's a physically strong kid. He punches in combinations. He really knows how to open up those body shots, and he does take the wind out of your sails if you're an opponent there that's smaller than him. He can overpower you. He can take the life right out of you. And I think he can wear a lot of guys down in this division. He's like 6 feet. Him and Jarrett Hurd are like huge. They're very huge. So I could see them overwhelming and overpowering a lot of guys in this division. Interesting matchup would be against Jermell Charlo. But Jermell Charlo has some power too. It'd be interesting to see if he has enough power to slow this kid's forward momentum and his pressure and aggressiveness. I think the fight of the division would be him versus Jarrett Hurd. The kid's got 30 fights. Is he ready for a Jermell Charlo? Is he ready for a Jarrett Hurd? They seem to think that he's still a little bit green. He admitted it himself that he would like to get more experience before jumping into fights like that. But eventually, if those fights do happen, and hopefully they will happen, I think that they have the makings for a firefight, both of them, both against both opponents. So he's a tough, rugged kid. He can punch a little bit, and he's in great shape, and he's really good at opening up those body shots. He's committed to going to the body. He's got and going up, nice little uppercut on the inside as well. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential there.
Robert, what were your thoughts on Munguia?
Well, he's got to work on his defense. He got hit with a few too many punches early in the fight.
Yeah.
And remember, guys, he's only 21 years old. People need to slow down on, well, he needs to fight this person, that person.
Yeah.
That title was basically gifted to him because he was a substitute for the person, for Smith. But remember, Liam Smith was originally supposed to fight Saddam Ali in December.
Right.
And for whatever reason, that fight didn't come off. So Munguia was a last-minute substitute, and he steamrolled Saddam Ali. So, and Liam Smith, believe it or not, was a mandatory challenge. So he had to fight this guy. And Liam Smith showed early in the fight, the first 3 or 4 rounds, look, I've got more experience than you. He made it difficult for him. But he figured it out in the end, and it was good for him to go 12 rounds. They were I tell you, I can see why HBO hasn't been around for a while. They reminded me last night why they needed a couple of months off. Boy, the way they went on and on about trying to compare this guy. Well, let's see if he can get rid of Smith before Canelo did.
Yeah, that was horrible.
It's like,
yeah.
Oh my God, really? He's only 21 years old, guys.
Different fighters.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, different experience levels. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And Canelo was 26 years old when he fought Liam Smith, and he had 48 fights under his belt when he fought Liam Smith. It was Christ. It was only like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Right.
You know?
It's like, give me a break.
I was getting sick listening to Lampley.
Yeah, I don't know what they were. I
Oh
don't know
my
what was
God.
going on with those guys.
Between Lampley
That's
and
Kellerman
last night, oh my God.
Jesus.
But he did what he had to do, and I think it's a very good 12 rounds for him. Liam Smith has nothing to be ashamed of.
Absolutely not.
in my opinion, even though he lost, he rejuvenated his career.
For sure.
I don't want to hear talk about this kid going up against Hurd or Charlo. You need to be very careful about how you match him up, because you need to make sure that he's got enough experience. You need to find more guys like Liam Smith and people that can take him some distance and deal with his power, and also teach him some things while he's in there. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do it, but this is a kid that fell into a title, but is still not ready to be on that level, if it makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, I mean, and I like Munguia and Jarrett Hurd. I think it's a good fight. I don't think it's a good fight necessarily right now.
No.
I think he does need a little bit of seasoning, but I don't think he needs much. I'll be honest. I don't think he needs much. And he's got that, he's got the it factor, man. I want to see him. I want to see him again.
Well,
yeah.
Let's just say this too, though. You got to give the kid credit, because I thought you could argue that he may have lost the first 3 rounds, at least 2 of the first 3 rounds.
Oh yeah.
And the fight looked like it was getting away from him. But from the 4th round on, he made a decision. He was stubborn. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna make it work. And he did that, because a lot of young guys get flustered. They get frustrated under those circumstances. And he was focused. He was dogged, determined, focused, and he turned that fight around in a hurry. In emphatic fashion. So I give him credit for that.
Yeah, he did, and he stuck to the game plan for sure.
Fight was good for both.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Albert Machado versus Rafael Mensah, the WBA regular junior lightweight title. Machado wins a unanimous decision over Rafael Mensah, 120 to 107 on all 3 cards. Man, this is a whitewash from start to finish. It was in Machado just hammered this kid, man. I mean, and he had that guy, they were talking, he had a rough way to go. I didn't, his daughter passed away about a month earlier. They kept making references to 5 times on the broadcast.
Oh my God.
But and they kept talking about this fight should be stopped. And you know what? I can't disagree with Kellerman saying the fight should be stopped. I understand. I understand where Roy Jones was coming from, saying that, hey, these guys are paid to fight this and that. But hey, listen, we're not animals here. We have to be advocates for the fighter and the fighter's protection and everything like that. So Rafael Mensah's nickname was Sweet Pea, which he looked everything but Sweet Pea in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Eric, the guy who won the fight, Machado, didn't give Tony Weeks enough ammunition to really step in and stop the fight.
No, I disagree with that.
You disagree?
I disagree with that, because you know what? I think he was doing what he was doing, but I think Mensah was the one who was firing back and everything like that. But if I were what I would have done if the referee is saying, hey, look, man, you're taking a lot of shots, and I would have done this earlier than he did. You're taking a lot of shots. If you don't show me something in this round, we're going to call this fight, because you haven't won a round. That's the thing. You haven't won a round, and this is where his corner really should have stepped in and said, hey, enough's enough. Because what did he get out of finishing in that fight last night?
Nothing.
I mean, it was a whitewash on all the cards. You couldn't win. You weren't going to win, Yeah, I think it was Mensah more than Machado, honestly, man, because Mensah would not stop. I mean, he every time there was a lull, I mean, he was punching. He was doing his job, Machado, I think, was doing everything he could to try to get him out of there. But, this kid was tough. A lot of heart.
Roy Jones is a cold dude sometimes. He wants to see these guys carried out in stretches.
Well, he was frequenting like chicken fights not too long ago, I'm sure he does, man. He's cold-blooded, man.
I love my man Roy Jones, don't get me wrong, but he's got a little sadistic streak in him, I think.
Well, Roy had too many fights. Didn't he get carried out once or twice at the end?
I don't know.
Please, Robbie, don't embellish this now.
Terrible. What's the matter with you? They're trampling all over him.
Don't start taking shots at Roy Jones.
Yeah. He raised chickens, fighting roosters.
That's called cockfighting, Eric.
He's a good man. He's a very good man.
Robbie, this is a family show. Don't start talking about cocks, please. All right, we don't want to hear the word cock. All right, please.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
We'll save that for when Jason comes on.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, Showbox. Jaron Ennis versus Armando Alvarez, 10 rounds, welterweights. Ennis scored a 3rd round KO over Alvarez. You guys impressed with Ennis?
Yes. Wow. Yeah, he looked good.
Look good.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
finisher. Good finisher.
Yeah. Thomas Matisse versus Zora Hamazarian. Maybe I got it right. I don't know.
Good job. You had it. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
That's it.
Matisse won a split decision over Hamazarian. The scores were 77-74 for Hamazarian and 76-75 twice for Matisse. Good decision.
I think it was an awful decision. I think Matisse lost the fight, in my opinion.
I gave Matisse 2 rounds in that fight. How many rounds did you give Matisse in that fight, Robert? Oh my God, was that one side?
Maybe 2 or 3. I thought the other guy was clearly winning the fight.
He won the fight.
Now, wasn't Matisse? Isn't Matisse from Ohio? I thought I saw
the one that's from Ohio was in the first fight. Montana Love.
Montana Love.
Yeah.
The porn star Montana Love versus Kenneth Sims Jr. 8 rounds, junior welterweights. Montana Love and Kenneth Sims fought to a draw. 77-75 for Sims, 77-75 for and 76-76.
Sims won that one too. Robbie, did you have Sims winning that one?
Yes, I thought Sims pulled it out. I thought it was a fight, but I had Sims winning.
There you go.
I thought Sims won that fight.
Yeah.
I thought he was a lot busier.
I'm gonna root for Montana Love just because of his name, man. I might change my name to Montana Love.
Well, and you know what? He's from Cleveland, Eric. So
Titletown, son, Ohio. All right. From Quebec, Canada, this weekend, Jean Pascal versus Steve Bossy. Pascal on the comeback trail scored an 8th round TKO over Steve Bossy in Quebec, Canada. Unless you're, let's pump the brakes if you think he's making a comeback here. Let me explain something about Steve Bossy. He entered the ring as a former UFC fighter, and he was 1-0 in boxing. He only had 1 professional boxing match. Why on earth they sanctioned this fight? I don't know. Why on earth it took him 8 rounds to KO him? I don't know either.
And why did John Pascal take a fight like this? What's the purpose?
Paycheck.
Yeah, right. Got to pay that rent, baby. All right. In Thailand this weekend, Srisaket Sor Rungvisai got over girl troubles versus Young Gil Bay. Rungvisai didn't let girl problems stop him from getting back to work. He knocked out Young Gil Bay in the first round, and it was pretty overwhelming. Robert, you've been known to handle the ladies. What advice would you give Sor Rungvisai to get over his ex?
Just continue working, man, and don't worry about it.
That's your advice from player to player. There it is.
Player to player, pimp to pimp. Remember that? I love that, man. Training Day, Denzel Washington.
He said. It was
I love that. He's my favorite actor by far.
That's
player to player, pimp to pimp.
That was good, yeah.
I love that movie.
That's Robbie's line. Player to player, pimp to pimp. All right.
See the Equalizer 2's coming out, baby.
That looks pretty good. That does look pretty good.
I love that line. I'm going to kill them all. The only regret I have is I can only do it once. Oh my God, that's a great line, baby.
That's a Roy Jones.
Pumped up here right now. Pumped up right now. Now, go hang up the heavy bag, please.
All right. July 27th. Robert, is that a Friday?
You betcha.
All right. On Telemundo, Robbie's favorite station from Mexico City. Saul Baby Juarez versus Mario Andrade, 10 rounds, junior flyweights. And let's see what else we got on here. Nothing for Friday, but on Saturday. From Kissimmee, Florida, on July 28th, Christopher Diaz on ESPN Plus. Christopher Diaz versus Masayuki Ito, 12 rounds for the vacant WBO junior lightweight title. Carlos Adames versus Artemo Reyes, 10 rounds welterweights. Is this a Golden Boy card?
Yeah, yes it is.
Why did I have to ask? How do I just know that? How do I just look at these fights and know that's a Golden Boy card. How do I do that?
Yep.
All right.
Hey, it's good.
On Showtime. Yeah, right. On Showtime from LA, Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter, 12 rounds for the WBC and IBF lightweight unification fight. Louis Ortiz versus Razvan Kajanu, 10 rounds heavyweights. And Mario Barrios versus Jose Roman, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Jamonte Clark also on the undercard against Terrell Williams. Let me see if there's any other known names on there.
And all the undercard fights will be on Showtime's Facebook and YouTube pages.
Love it.
They will not be on Show Extreme. So.
Love it. All right, and we'll go back and talk about that fight in a minute. From London, that same night, Dillian White versus Joseph Parker. This is a good fight. 12 rounds heavyweights. Kell Brook versus Brandon Cook. 12 rounds junior middleweights. Carlos Takam versus Derek Chisora. 12. This card is stacked, son. 12 rounds heavyweights. Katie Taylor versus Kimberly O'Connor. 10 rounds for Taylor's WBA and IBF female lightweight title. Connor Ben versus Cedric Peynaud. Rematch, 6 or 8 rounds. They're welterweights. Joshua Buatsi versus Ricky Summers. Listen, man, that's a stacked lineup right there.
I wonder if AWE will show that one.
I don't know. I'm hoping somebody shows it. It doesn't seem to be televised, so hopefully somebody shows it.
Okay.
That'll those type of that's all going to be on the zone, I'm sure, when they have it. So
yeah,
that's a stack. Say what you will, those short little cards that he puts on, they got good fighters on there, and they're going to be a lot of those. The Takam Chisora fight's going to be good. Brooks going to be a whitewash. Dillian White and Joseph Parker. That's
Brooks off the card, Eric. He hurt himself.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He sure did.
You know what? Not to interrupt you, I apologize, but
no, not at all.
What I'm hearing is that card's actually falling apart. There's rumors that a lot of other fighters are going to pull off that card too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I heard. I don't know how true it is. I know Brooks off that card though with an ankle injury.
Ah, there you go.
And it's being questioned.
Wow. We'll see if it comes out then.
Okay.
And then let's see here. July 29th from Australia, Lucas Brown versus Roger Isnaritiliu. I don't know. 10 rounds heavyweights.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Your boy, Lucas Brown. All right, let's talk about Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter on Showtime from LA. This is a good one, man. This is a real good one. And let me tell you what, though. Robert Easter didn't do himself any favors by taking this card in LA. By them choosing LA as the place, I thought they really should have chose Brooklyn over New York, over Los Angeles or whatever.
This will be at the Staples Center, man, and I believe all tickets are sold.
Yeah, this is going to be at the Staples Center. It's sold out, I guess, but
I believe so.
But Robert Easter, like I said, man, because I don't think Garcia is going to knock out Easter. I think it could be. I think it could be very well close fight. I lean toward Easter because he's from Titletown.
Of course you do.
He's from Titletown, and we don't lay down for nobody. But the fact that it's in LA, if it goes to a decision, I just don't trust it. I don't trust it, man. I just don't. So that's kind of my feelings on the fight. I'm gonna ride with Easter, and hopefully, and just hope that he doesn't get robbed. Robert, what say you?
Well, you know what? I'm going to stick with the California guy, man. Mikey's going to keep his O.
Get out of here.
He's going to keep his O, and he will win this fight and have both titles.
Beeb, you're the voice of reason. You're the one I lean to in tough times when picking fights. I look to Beeb Industries to make the right decision. Beeb,
well, I know what decision he's going to make.
What do you say?
What's the fight in question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus.
I was talking to Brianna. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter, Beeb.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mikey Garcia. I love Mikey Garcia.
Yeah.
What?
Mikey Garcia. Who's going to win, Brianna?
Easter.
Robert Easter or Mikey Garcia? Who do you like?
Easter.
You like Mikey Garcia too? Okay.
Get out of here. No train wreck of the week this week. How about that?
Oh, yeah, we're going to have a train wreck, all right. Yes, we are.
Oh. All right. Well, I don't care. I'm rolling with Robert Easter.
Okay,
All
you
right.
do that, Ohio.
This should be Louis Ortiz versus Razvan Kajanu. This should be Louis Ortiz all day. He should
That's
win,
right.
just depending on, hopefully, he he comes back all right. So Jamonte Clark, it'll be good to see him on there. Who else here, man? I don't recognize any of the other guys. A lot of fights, though. That's
Like
the
I
one
said,
thing. When you go to like a
like I
PBC
said,
event,
all the undercard fights will be on YouTube, on Showtime's Facebook and YouTube pages.
the one thing I do like about the PBC, man, is they do keep it moving. They're all good events. When you go there and you watch them, they're stacked. I mean, like 10, 11 fights deep. And like the card will start at like 5:30 or something like that. And it starts like at 5:30. The guys are in the ring and it doesn't stop until you leave. I mean, they keep it going, even during TV and everything like that. I mean, they keep it going now, man. I mean, one fight right after the other. It's all action. There's no intermissions, nothing like that. They keep it going, man. If you get a chance to go to like a PBC event, you won't be sorry, man, because they're good fights. I mean, they're good and they keep it, like I said, man, they keep it moving, which is nice. All right. Let's go to the phones. Area code 805-805. You're live.
Hey,
hello, Nacho.
Nacho, what's happening?
None much. As far as the fights this weekend, the Showbox card, the first fight was a decent scrap between Love and Sims. I kind of thought that fight could have gone either way, and I really didn't have a problem with them scoring it a draw. The second fight was horrible. That Hamzarian dude completely outclassed, and he embarrassed the Matisse guy. Yeah. And for the judges to have like completely, that wasn't even a robbery. That was a heist. What they did to that poor guy. It was unbelievable. That kid legitimately won, I thought, 6 of the 8 rounds, and
me too.
He should have won that fight by at least 6 points, as far as I am.
Yeah. Oh, horrible.
That was an unbelievably stunning decision when they said that the other guy had won. I was like, what the hell were they fucking watching? Like, that's an awful decision. And for Steve Farhood to come out and say that's the worst decision he's ever seen, that goes to show you how fucking awful that really was.
Well, and even Barry Tompkins, he said, look, I've been announcing fights for over 40 years, and that is definitely one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was just completely awful. Hopefully that kid gets another fight on Showbox, and maybe he gets a rematch, and hopefully he kicks.
He only had 9 fights too. He's a good fighter for 9 fights. I was very impressed.
Yeah, he was a very entertaining guy to watch for the most
9
part.
fights, wow.
And the main event, they're making such a big deal about Ennis and him being a really good prospect. This fight didn't really show me much because the guy he fought, I looked at his record, and he had fought a bunch of nobodies to build up that record. And so he just completely outclassed Alvarez in that ring, and you could see it right away. Alvarez had no answer for his speed and his angles, and just he couldn't see where the shots were coming from. It was like every time he thought he could see the shot, he'd get hit with something he didn't see, and then he would get hurt, and it was just a complete mismatch. I'd like to see Ennis again, but hopefully they can pick a little bit better of a opponent for him for the next time they put him in there for sure. The fights last night, I agree with you guys. Machado completely outclassed and just put a beating on Mensah. And I just completely don't understand why his corner, Mensah's corner, couldn't just say, you know what, like this dude has no shot in hell of winning this fight. Like they should have honestly stopped that fight after about the 8th round.
Yeah.
Like that kid had no shot, and he was just getting beat up and beat up and beat up. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you guys waiting for? Like this poor kid's just getting his head kicked in for no reason. He has no way of winning this fight, and you're just letting him take a beating. And what made it even worse was hearing Lampley and Kellerman talk about him not getting paid for his first 30 fights in Africa, and his daughter dying. I was like, oh my God, like can you please just stop this fight already? Like you're making me feel bad watching this guy get beat up. Like this is awful.
Yeah.
Like that was just a horrible call on Mensa's corner and on Weeks. They should have stopped that fight at least 3-4 rounds earlier. But it was a good win for Machado, although I'm curious to see who he fights next because, I mean, I'm sure they're going to – Golden Boy doesn't have a whole lot of 130-pounders in their roster, so they're going to have to really figure out who they can throw at him. Although I kept hearing Francisco Vargas might be the next guy, and if that is, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight.
No, that'd be a test.
Yeah. And,
that's a good fight.
And as far as the main event, Munguia, you know, Munguia is still green, and I'm glad he admitted it, and he showed it. But the kid did answer a lot of questions last night. He answered questions about can he go a full 12 rounds in a tough fight against a guy who's not going to go away once he hits him, and he did. I mean, Smith did everything but throw the kitchen sink at him to stay in that fight. And I give a lot of credit to Smith. Smith took a beating, and he fought his heart out, but he just was completely overmatched. And Munguia just threw as many hard shots as he could at him, and the body shots were just, you know, killing him, and the head shots were landing at different times. The only thing with Munguia is I definitely would like to see him, his trainer, hopefully Alcazar, can get him to relax a little more when he's in the ring. He's a little too jumpy at times. He tends to kind of swing for the fences too much, and that's what made him tired towards the end of last night. And I think he needs to kind of learn how to throw the jab a little more consistently to set up his other his body shots and his hooks and uppercuts to the head. And once he learns how to do that, I think the kid can be a legitimate, you know, if you give him a couple more fights, I think he could challenge Charlo or Hurd, because I can't imagine Charlo or Hurd will want to fight this guy a year from now when he's got a lot more experience in seasoning. You would want to think that they'd want to fight him as soon as possible, knowing that he still needs a lot more work on his overall boxing skills and on his defense. So it'll be interesting to see who they put in there against him next. Hopefully they put in somebody who's got, you know, somewhat of a Liam Smith type level of competition, or maybe a slight step up, like maybe like a Tony Harrison or you know, a Sam Eggington or someone of that nature, you know, someone who's a veteran who can give them some more rounds and some more experience in there. The fights this weekend, I was about to tell you guys because I heard Beeb say it. Brooke was off the fight card because he had sprained his foot, and apparently they replaced him with Sam Eggington. Eggington fighting that Brandon Cook guy on the card this weekend. And the card that you guys mentioned from Florida, that's actually a Top Rank card. That's on a Golden Boy card.
Oh, okay, Top Rank. Okay.
Christopher Diaz is with Top Rank. Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I don't blame you guys for being cynical when you see the names as far as the matchups are concerned, because they're not all that great, to be honest. So,
Who do you got, Mikey or Easter, Nacho?
You know what? I honestly think that Easter's going to put up a fight. I just think somehow, some way, Garcia's going to find a way to win that fight. I agree with Eric. I don't think he's going to knock out Easter. I think it goes the distance. I think Garcia probably wins a 7-5, maybe 8-4 decision. I just think that Easter's going to find a way to make it through the 12 rounds somehow, because Javier Fortuna took him the distance, and I thought Fortuna won that fight, but somehow Easter ended up getting the decision in that fight. So I just think that Easter's going to find a way to make it to the very end, and you know, he'll survive till the decision, and I think Garcia wins that decision. As far as the other fight that they're going to show, the Louis Ortiz fight, he's fighting some fucking nobody. I expect him to blow that guy out in about 4 or 5 rounds. I think it's just kind of a stay busy fight for him, just to kind of get him in there and stuff. And and as far as the Super 6 card, I got to see the majority of it. I didn't see all of the fights, but I got to see most of them. The other, like the way I said that the Matisse Hamzarian fight was a heist, the second worst heist of the weekend was the Fedor Chutinov Najib Mohammadi fight.
Yeah.
Mohammadi beat Chutinov from pillar to post in that fight, and somehow, and I don't know how in the hell that happened, 2 of the 3 judges gave that fight to Chutinov, and Chutinov won the split decision, which is fucking insane because his face looked like hamburger at the end, and he just got his ass kicked. I still don't understand how he got that decision for the life of me, and that was just awesome. And as far as the main event, I thought Gassiev was gonna put up a better performance, but you just gotta give Usyk a lot of credit. He literally never stayed in front of Gassiev at all. He gave him angles, and he was just like pot-shotting him and hitting him with like 3-4 punch combinations, and then he would move away. Then he would bounce back in, hit him, move out. And he controlled the pace and he controlled the distance of the fight really easily. And Gassiev landed a couple of really good shots that I thought could have hurt Usyk, but Usyk's got a really good chin because he never once wobbled or flinched when he took those shots. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he just put on a hell of a performance. It'll be interesting to see if he fights Tony Bellew next, because Bellew's been calling him out. So I would definitely like to see how he does against that guy.
Yeah, I think that's a good fight, man. I think that's a real good fight. Yeah, I think that Usyk wins, but I think it's a tough fight.
Yeah, but does Bellew drop down to cruiserweight to challenge for all those titles, or does Usyk give up all the titles and go up to heavyweight?
Hey, Bellew's in front of the show. He can do what he wants. A-list movie star, son.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants. Do whatever he wants. He draws the crowd. In front of the show, Robert. Come on. All right, Nacho, man. Thank you, sir.
Right,
Thank you for the call, man. We appreciate it.
Ahead,
go ahead and finish.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say. I think that fight takes place at like a small heavyweight, because I don't see Bellew wanting to cut back down to under 200 to fight for all those belts. Something tells me it's probably gonna happen like at heavyweight.
Yeah, he ain't going back down in weight.
But it would be interesting to see Bellew challenge for all the marbles.
Yeah.
If he did. If he did go after him in cruiserweight. Yeah, that's all I got, guys.
Awesome, man. Great call as usual, man.
All right.
Thank you, Nacho. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Beeb, you've correct?
Correct, yes.
To the gym. You ever use what size gloves do you use to spar?
16.
I use 16 as well. I use Reyes 16-ounce gloves. You use 16-ounce gloves?
I used to.
Have you ever seen a pair of 22-ounce gloves? You ever seen anybody spar with 22-ounce gloves?
Maybe in a playpen or something. not in the gym.
Jason said that Tank Davis knocked out Mensah, the guy that just fought this weekend, Mensah, in 2 rounds. And I said in sparring, in sparring, laugh because I mean, it's just sparring. No, everybody gets the best of everybody in sparring. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Sparring is so far like you're trying to learn in sparring, and sometimes you're mimicking different things in sparring. Yeah. So he said sparring is harder to knock somebody out, which sparring is harder to knock somebody out because they're only using 22-ounce gloves, because they're using 22-ounce gloves.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a 22-ounce glove.
Nobody uses 22-ounce gloves, son. Get it together over there.
Unless you go to the KB Trillion Hobbies and you blow up those gloves.
He's got he puts on the sumo suit and then puts on the glove.
Yeah, stop, please. Oh my Lord.
Stay in your lane, son. Stay in your lane. All right, let's talk about let's go to news and rumors here. All right. So this is interesting, man. Okay, so DAZN prices came out this weekend. The fighters signed came out this weekend. So DAZN will kind of, I mean, because I don't think we have all the fighters. Because I mean, I think, like I said, we talked about this last card with Kell Brook and Dillian White was on it and everything.
Yeah,
I think those will be on DAZN as well. So DAZN will launch September 10th in the U.S. and will cost $9.99 a month. The first month is a free trial. You get to do it for free. Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin will happen on September 22nd. That'll be on DAZN. October 6th, Arthur Beterbiev versus Callum Johnson. Jesse Vargas and Katie Taylor will also appear on the undercard. Somebody in the chat just said that Jesse Vargas is his first fight may be against Ricky Burns. Man, I hope that's not the case. Jesus.
Oh my.
Yeah, right. October 20, Danny Roman will be defending his WBA Super Bantamweight title against Gavin McDonnell. Matchroom has made a deal with Rock Nation for a co-promotion on the WBO junior welterweight champ Maurice Hooker, and they hope to have him face Alex Saucedo in the co-feature of that event. So Jarrell Miller also on there. Demetrius Andrade look like they're going to fight possibly in October. So yeah, I mean it looks. I mean they've got some good things, some good starting points. I guess they definitely have some good starting points, but I don't know, man. I'm with Robbie on this, but I will tell you this: that WB, the World Boxing Super Series, will now be on DAZN for their second season.
Yeah.
Man, that's a big selling point. That's a huge selling point for me because I really want to see all those fights.
Yeah.
Povetkin and Joshua will be on there, and you can catch out on your first free month or whatever. But you got $5. You got to pay ESPN Plus. If you're hardcore, you're paying ESPN Plus. We have ESPN Plus anyway because they have a bunch of soccer on there. I like soccer. That's what I do. All right, so I like soccer. So I watch a lot of soccer on there. We watch a lot of boxing on there. And ESPN Plus is nice because it does have shows and everything. So it's not. I don't too much about that.
Yeah.
But then you got $9.99. That's $15. Yeah. So what is that? $15 a month, $16 a month.
On top of what we already pay for our cable or satellite bills.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one for me, man. Because look, man. It's almost
Eric,
like we're getting juiced to death here.
I would pay for a boxing channel that was actually on our TV that showed me every single fight. I would add that to my monthly bill without a problem. I don't want to have to go to 3 or 4 different places to watch fights.
I agree. I mean, I don't know. I agree, but I think this is kind of where it's going, though. I think
Beeb brought up an excellent point earlier. You've got ESPN Plus, you've got DAZN, plus you've got all the major networks that we already get on our TV. Isn't there going to be too much stuff available? And how are people supposed to decide? Because we all have lives, we all have bills to pay, we all have families. Some of us have kids. I mean, there's only so much entertainment dollars that a family would have. You've got priorities in your life. Boxing is this is being spread way too thin. Some of these things are going to fall. I mean, ESPN won't fall because you got major people backing it. It's owned by a major corporation, so the Plus app that will be there. But you've got DAZN. You don't know about the people behind it. You're asking people to make decisions on how they're going to spend their entertainment dollars, and I don't know. I just think there's just too much of this going on, and I mean, the heavyweight champion of the world not being on our TV, really?
Here's one major problem. The biggest fights in boxing are big because they reach out to crossover casual fans. So, as I said, everybody has Showtime in their cable package. Most everybody. Everyone has HBO.
Everyone's got ESPN.
Everyone's got ESPN. So, as I said several times, the end game is the pay-per-view, right? So, if you're going to showcase Anthony Joshua on DAZN, which is not really established in the United States, how are you looking to put him out there and get interest from casual fans. Wouldn't it have been smarter to have left him on Showtime, and people could have been channel surfing? They would have, come across him. Showtime could have, did a promo show for him. They could have built him. Like, Showtime is great at building stars. Like, they take you from Showbox, and if you can make the full journey, you go all the way to pay-per-view. Fighters have done that. So, like, how is Joshua going to become more popular in the United States on this app? I think he would become popular by fighting on Showtime. I think the chances of him becoming more popular would the best move would be to keep him on Showtime. I think that would be a better strategy. And again, I want to go back to the oversaturation of the market. Are all these Showtime fighters who are predominantly been fighting on Showtime, are they going to fight on DAZN? How are you going to get the top players in the game to fight your fighters on DAZN? Like, again, you're going to have this Cold War all over again, because already people are not really liking Eddie Hearn. Oscar's taking shots at him. Other people have taken shots at Eddie Hearn in the past. He says he likes to work with everybody, but in the meanwhile, he's throwing shade on a lot of promoters. He's taking shots, and he's insulting a lot of people. So, like, how is this Joshua Wilder fight going to happen if you try to tell us that in order for us to watch it, we have to watch it on DAZN? When we're used to watching Wilder on Showtime. We were used to watching Joshua on Showtime, and we didn't have to pay extra for it. Now we have to pay extra for it. So this could backfire. There could be a lot of resentment here from American boxing fans, like, why do we got to pay for this? Yeah, okay, well, we have the World Boxing Super Series. That's great. But once again, we were watching that on YouTube before. Now we got to pay for it. So things that we were getting for free, we now have to pay for. So the question, my question is, in order to do that, you would have to really, really take what we were getting free and enhance it to levels beyond belief in order for us to want to pay for it and be happy for it. So I'm gonna be open-minded about this whole thing. Am I gonna buy DAZN? Unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna have to buy it for the month of September if I want to watch that Joshua Povetkin fight, which I really do want to watch. So yeah, he'll get me for that month. But am I going to watch Jesse Vargas versus Maurice Hooker? Am I going to pay for that? No. So I don't think you're going to have a consistent subscriber base here, and I'm skeptical that a lot of Americans are going to buy this app. I really am. So
yeah,
I think by oversaturating the market and creating more obstacles and more hurdles for fighters to fight each other, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. At least with Heyman and PBC, the fights were free. Whether you liked them or not, they were free. You didn't have to go into pocket for them, and they were archived too, I believe. You could watch them on demand. So I don't know. I'm skeptical. Again, will I buy it? A month here, a month there. Yeah. Will I buy it for the year? No.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that
I don't think people realize the economics involved. They're thinking about the money they could possibly make, but they're not thinking about the normal everyday person that actually has a life to live and expenses to pay. People are they're more concerned about, well, what can we have in our bottom line? How many suckers can we get to buy this? This is why boxing is going to stay on the fringes. This is why it will never be the sport that it used to be. Back in the 50s and 60s, when it was one of the most popular sports in this country, it's going to stay in the backwater because you've got deals like ESPN Plus, and you have DAZN, and you've got all these other outlets. Like each week when we go through the upcoming fights, we have to say, oh, there's no TV here, you have to stream it here. Oh, there's no TV here. Oh, okay, it's going to be on this network. I mean, or this website. I mean, why does boxing fans of any other sport, why do we have to jump through hoops that no other sports fan has to jump through? Do you see the NFL dividing up their product? No. Do you see the NBA dividing up their product? No. Do you see Major League Baseball dividing up their product? No. But you see boxing screwing the boxing fans. Is what you see.
You know, but you could argue that for the NFL, yeah, it is pay-per-view because you have to buy a cable package to see all the games. That's just the way it is.
There's an NFL Sunday ticket. Yeah, that's true, right?
Well,
and not only that, but some of the games are on like TNT. Some of the games are like on cable channels. Yeah. Same said for the NBA. Same, especially for Major League. We don't get those locally anymore at all.
Yeah. Well, I have no trouble getting baseball or basketball or football
on local channels.
Yeah, I can get baseball on local channels.
Like
here.
They're on like
no
Fox
problem.
and stuff like that. Yeah. Like Fox and we don't have that. Ours are only on like a DirecTV like 601 or something like that.
I know.
So I mean,
we have sports on local channels, Eric, in Boston too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Boston, I think that's like, they're big baseball towns and stuff, like big sports towns. So
we're a big sports town in general. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're a huge sports town.
Yeah. So that's
probably the greatest city in America.
But boxing fans should not have to jump through so many hoops. I mean, look, Beeb is right. Whether you like what Al Heyman has done with PBC, they were on too many channels, but at least you could find them. At least you could find most of them on your TV. With this, who wants to run down their battery on their phones by watching stuff on a tiny screen? I know there's stuff out there you can buy to hook up to your TV, but again, that's more expense. What's the point? I mean, come on. I hope this DAZN thing crashes and burns. Eddie Hearn can get the UK folks to pay for whatever. They'll do it. I mean, they're more addicted to boxing than we are. But Americans aren't like that. We have, we've got other interests. So this is a wrong move here in this country, sucker.
All right, Robert, you've been heard. All right, so let's talk about the World Boxing Series Super Series, the draws and the matchup. I tell you what, and this is amazing, and this will be on DAZN. Like I said, I'm like Beeb, where I'll buy a month here and a month there, but as far as buying it every month, I don't think so, man. No. I don't think so.
I canceled my cloud right after that the final bell of the 12th round ended on that Super Series.
Terrible.
I canceled it.
And I'll tell you what, Robert brings up a good point. He said we have to pay for ESPN Plus. I think ESPN, you know what? I don't even mind DAZN so much. I don't mind, I don't mind that. But what I do mind is ESPN Plus, because I already pay for ESPN. I already pay for ESPN. HBO, as part of my subscription, gives me HBO to go. Showtime does the same thing, where I purchase it, so I get all the stuff from it. DirecTV does the same thing, where I can watch it on the go and watch it on my phone and everything like that. All part of your plan, all part of your subscription. ESPN, I have to go outside of the box to pay these idiots. $4.99 a month or $5.99, whatever it is. I got to go outside the box to pay these idiots for a station that I'm already paying for, what, 3, Robert? How many ESPNs are there on DirecTV? 3? There's ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN University. There's 4 ESPNs. 4.
Yeah, there's ESPN, there's ESPN2, ESPN, ESPNU, and then ESPN Classic. There's
exactly. 4. So there's 4 channels, and I got to pay for a 5th one out of my pocket.
Ridiculous.
That's stupid. That's what irritates me. That's what irritates me.
Why does boxing fans have to jump through so many games?
And Eric,
I just don't get it.
Yes.
On a final note, you know what I classify this as? I classify this in my perspective. For me, I just classify this as a lower level pay-per-view service. Like I'm going to be buying fights. I'm not looking at buying months. I'm looking at buying fights.
Right.
I'm going to be very diligent in looking at the schedule. Vivek and Joshua, I got to buy it. Yeah. That's $10. Whatever. Some of the Super Series fights, yeah, I'll buy them. You know what I mean? So like when they have a fight there, I'll buy that month, and that's it. I'm not gonna wait boom 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 buy them every month. So
yeah, I agree. All right, so let's talk about the World Boxing Super Series of draws and matchups in the bantamweight division. Number 1 seed Ryan Burnett versus Nonito Donaire for Burnett's WBA title. Number 2 seed Naoya Inoue versus Juan Carlos Payano. How good is that fight? Number 3, Zolani Tete versus Mikhail Aloyan for Tete's WBO title. Now, Mikhail Aloyan is only 4-0 with 0 knockouts. I'm not sure what he's doing in there. Why? When I'm looking over this, I don't know why Rashid Warren is not in here either. I'd love to see Rashid Warren in something like this. Number 4, the fourth seed, Emmanuel Rodriguez, and I can't wait to see him fight again. My gosh, that guy is good. Versus Jason Maloney, who's 17-0 and 14 knockouts for Rodriguez's IBF title. Beeb, as I read these off, and both of you guys, how exciting are these? Just this first round of fights in the bantamweight division.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Solid.
I want to see Inoue and Payano. I want to see. They're all good. I mean, they're all good. I don't know what Rodriguez does here.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. This is solid. This is not. I mean, there's not a bad fight on here. They're all solid fights, man. All of them. And you know what? Who was it? I don't know. Didn't Maurice Hooker drop out of this?
I didn't know. I don't think I'm not sure if he dropped out. I know he had that legal issue with the drunk driving.
Going to be able to be in it.
Yeah, he's out. He's out. He's not in. All right, so let's talk about the junior welterweight. Number one seed, Regis Prograis versus Terry Flanagan in the first round. Wow.
Oh, wow. Go Regis.
Number 2 seed, Josh Taylor versus Ryan Martin. That's going to be a killer fight, too. Number 3 seed, Karol Relic versus Edward Troyanovsky, former TBE Robert, for Relic's WBA title. Number 4 seed, Ivan Baranchik versus Anthony Yigit for the vacant IBF title. This is another one, man. I mean, these cards are stacked.
They're good, yeah.
That's amazing, man. They're all stacked. I cannot wait. All of those fights, I want to see all of them. Just good fights all the way around. So there you go. Beeb, are you more likely to buy the zone with the WBSS on it?
Yes. How is it going to be structured now? Like, how many of these tournament fights will be in a month? How are they going to be grouped together?
That I don't know. That we don't know.
That's the thing. So if they're smart, they're going to stack the months. Make sure that.
Yep. Make sure you pay for it. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how they'll do it. Robert, you buying the zone for this?
No.
I'm
come
on,
paying
Robert.
For any apps.
Oh,
I'm not paying for any apps.
Oh, that's terrible.
What if I give it to you for Christmas? Would you use it?
I don't know, Beeb. I really don't know. The principle.
What if I give you a tutorial on how to cast it to your television? Will you read it?
It's the principle of the thing, guys.
Robert said there's principalities involved here.
Robert's he's dead set against it. You know, I'm going to respect his opinion.
I respect it too. I respect it more while I'm watching.
He's a consumer. He's a consumer.
Yeah, I respect it even. I'll think about you when I'm watching those fights, son.
Plenty of money, man. I don't know why I can't get all these.
Right.
I'll show you screenshots to the fights. Any highlight knockouts? I'll just show you a screenshot of it. Text it to you.
You've made a fan in the chat. Jason is saying #stand with Robbie. Robbie for president. He likes what you're doing. He likes you boycotting him. There you go.
Meanwhile, he'll be buying it too. He's gonna be watching Joshua Pavek, and he knows he is. Stop lying.
Yeah.
People don't understand the cost of living in this country, man. You know, like, come on.
Not you. I'm talking about Jason. Jason's saying he's talking trash. Jason will buy it. He's full of crap.
Somebody said #Robbie Me Too. the Robert Me Too movement.
Oh my God. The Me Too belongs to the women, guys. They deserve that. That's a good movement that they're doing.
Robbie loves his ladies. Robbie loves the ladies. All right, Beeb, it's time.
Brianna, let's go.
Look at Beeb ordering around. Let's go.
Ready? Go ahead.
Chugga, 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 choo-choo.
Perfect.
Good
Perfect.
job.
Wow.
Hey,
So angelic.
Excellent.
So angelic. So much
Excellent.
better than when Beeb does it. Thank you for saving us this week, Brianna. All right. Train wreck of the week. Anthony Joshua tells people to start training if they want to fight Wilder. Anthony Joshua tells fans that if they want to fight Wilder, they should start training. Joshua said he's not determined by what people want. Quote, this career isn't determined by what people want. What do you think of this, Beeb? Think he's a diva? Think he doesn't care what he gives the people?
It's a horrible PR move.
That's
You
a
know,
bad
it's
move.
and these fans, I'm telling you, no matter what he says, they're just going to stick behind him. He's open, and again, once again, the hypocrisy. I'm going to be fighting in the UK instead of the United States. I want the Wilder fight in the UK instead of the United States because I want to do it for my fans. I owe my fans to fight and unify in the UK. But then you just said you don't care about them. So, like, again, these contradictions are just mind-boggling, and they're just never-ending.
Yeah. Yeah, that blows my mind, man, a little bit. I got to be honest here.
Jason, get ready with those 22-ounce gloves. You got a fight coming up. You and Deontay Wilder, baby. Joshua wants you in there. He wants you to take his place, Jason.
Hey, Charlie Z fought him.
Charlie Z fought him. You kind of look like Charlie Z a little bit. You're not as muscular, but you're still there. You look like him.
Charlie Z's he's juiced, man. He's big
jacked, man.
Yeah. He's amped.
And he got KO'd too, brother.
Oh, Robert, come on. He was a heavyweight champion. Heavyweight champion of the world.
22-ounce gloves, baby.
There it is. All right. Let's see here. Let's bring on 508. I think that's Georgie.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh, here comes the hurricane.
People.
What's going on, Demolition Man?
You fool.
Georgie.
What's up, Georgie?
What's the word?
Bring some heat up in here.
Let it loose. Let it loose.
Got some people to put on shame.
Oh,
Shame on them.
Shame.
Listen,
Shame.
brother. Let me get this straight. Let's talk some facts here. This World Boxing Super Series, how long it been around? Just this year, George.
Yeah.
Or well, it started last year.
Yeah.
Last year, Georgie.
How many undisputed we have from this thing?
One so far.
One so far.
One so far. Okay. How many undisputed we have before that?
Zero.
None, Georgie. Zero.
Zero. We had the Crawford. That was about it. Yeah, but Crawford.
Oh, I thought you were talking about cruiserweights, Georgie. I'm sorry. Yeah, we had Crawford.
Yeah. Follow me
Okay.
here. Okay. Before the World Super Series, how many would we have?
One.
Period of time. How long it passed between we had this? The
Well,
World Super Series is the best thing that happened to boxing in years.
100%.
I second that. I second that.
Nobody's gonna argue that. In a long time. Now we go into that dance, the Eddie Hearn's app. The Zone, yep.
I don't even know what it is, Georgie. Jesus.
So we got people against it right from the go, but they love boxing. When they're showing you real competition, because there's no Americans there. Like fucking the sport belongs to America.
Yep.
They go in this so-called nationalism shit that got people fucked around the world left and right. But they love boxing. Listen. The Bellator alone, those fights alone, fuck boxing, those fights alone guarantee that success here in the United States. They can cry, they can cut blood all they want, and ain't taking it nowhere. So it's not an app about boxing only. Many other sports there.
But this is how we are, man. Creating that fucking divide, and then they try to support something that's gonna give you some good competition. Are we serious, man?
So, if I can read between the lines here, Georgie, you're going to buy DAZN and support it.
All day long. All
Okay.
day long. Not even a question. Even before the ESPN bullshit. I mean, come on, how could you say in the same breath that you love boxing and you blocking the app that's gonna show you some competition?
Hey, Georgie, I got to be honest. Georgie, I got to be honest. The DAZN cards are crushing the ESPN cards. They're going to crush the ESPN cards just because of that series, that World Boxing Super Series. I mean, there's no comparison.
If you're a boxing fan, there is no way you can go against that. Then you're not a boxing fan. You are a hater of fucking whatever is not US. I bet you Van Hammond would have put that fucking app there. Bunch of motherfuckers would have supported. Listen, Usyk became undisputed. Became fucking undisputed. How many fucking YouTube channels you seen fucking making show about that? Hating ass niggas be. Just hating on the shit. But they love boxing. And they got a boxing channel. Man, these people that they listen, man, they show their cards right away, brother. Anybody that you see that didn't even fucking acknowledge the fact that this man became undisputed, unsubscribe, brother, because you backing up shit. That should have been the talk of the week. But here we are in the divide. Robbie, baby, you got to catch up with the times. We cannot be in this fucking tie-rider fucking smoke signal for the fucking last century. Everything going online. That's the future. That you like it, I don't like it, don't matter. If you love boxing and you want to see this shit, you're going to have to pitch in.
I respect your opinion, Georgie, but I'm going to stick by my guns.
Robbie still got a rotary phone.
No, I don't.
Listen, another thing that I want to bring about Jamie. Listen, the man got exposed. I heard this argument about he's only 21 years old. Are you people serious? So what you gonna give me that? I'm only 21 years old. When you holding a strap of the world, a world title.
Well, Georgie, that title got handed to him on a silver platter.
Don't matter if they send it, I said to fucking Christmas gift or whatnot. Don't matter. As soon as you get that belt, you are so-called world champion. You gotta face opposition. That's how we got this married nation and this bullshation and all kind of shation that this motherfucker wanna bring. Listen, I'm no historian. But Wilfredo Benitez was champion at 17 years old.
Yes, he was.
Killing monsters. Trinidad was 19 years old. Murderous champion and former champion. But they want to talk about 21 years old. But you love boxing. I mean, what I'm missing here, people? Can somebody explain this to me? Crickets. Anybody?
Georgia, I'm looking at it from the economic point of view. How much money does Americans have to spend on different things?
Got a point.
No, we're talking about the 21-year-old argument. I want somebody to explain to me why we got to take this man in a slow road just because he's 21 years old.
You talking about Munguia?
Holding a barrel fucking title.
Yeah, he's talking about Munguia.
Okay, because you saw him get banged up by Liam Smith on shots that he shouldn't have gotten hit with. Sure, I mean, you can put him, hey, listen, man, he's not my fighter. I mean, they can go ahead and put him with the Wolves as far as I'm concerned, and I think it'll be a good fight, and I think it'll be competitive. Will he win? I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
He probably won, and that's what we should look forward as a boxing fan. Whoever don't belong there, with a strap, out. That's it. That's why these straps don't mean anything no more. Everybody holding a strap.
Well, I think I think Georgie's right. I mean, technically, once you got the belt on, you got to fight the best. You're the champion. And if you can't fight the best, then
I would totally agree with that.
obviously it's not going to work out that way because of the politics in the sport and the management behind fighters. But from a logical standpoint, from a standpoint that most fans want to get behind is like once you're a champion, then you're supposed to fight the best. Does it always? It's not going to work out that way, but still, I mean, in theory, that is correct. Can't be argued.
It's just, man, but I cannot understand that anybody bringing that argument about 21 years old. They should be not have no say on boxing whatsoever.
Can't argue with you this week, Georgie. Can't argue with you this week. You're on point this week.
Yeah.
It's just, man, I mean, come on, bro. We should be in the same side. I heard this device that make no sense. Make no sense, bro. It's just ridiculous. And talking about ridiculous, Eric, your guy gonna get sparked next week. You know that, right?
I've got that feeling, man. I tell you what, I've got that feeling. It's a bad move. It was a bad move for him to take this fight in L.A. And he probably got a lot of money to do it. He probably got a lot of money.
Baby, Eric, come on. Let's hold the horses there, baby. You know, like I know, that judging got gonna have nothing to do. It's not gonna be close.
Son, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a close fight.
It's not gonna be close.
It's gonna be a close fight, son.
Your boy gonna get outclassed. like he lost the last fight. Who was it?
He didn't lose the last fight because he's still undefeated. Still undefeated.
Eric, you should do a pie bet with Georgie that Robert Easter will not win more than 3 rounds.
If the fight were in New York, I would. If the fight were in New York, I would. But I don't trust those judges. I don't trust them.
Eric.
You know what? I know what Anthony Joshua was talking about now. I don't trust those judges.
Eric. Fortuna exposed Junior. Expose him. Beat him, and he got robbed. A diver like Fortuna beat your boy. What was going to happen when Mikey put those brakes on him? When he put those hammers on Cat? I'm offering you a pie bet right now, and I'm picking Mikey by KO.
Wow.
Well, the problem.
So what's up?
The problem,
wow.
Georgie, the problem
You talking about judges? Okay.
is that you're not really the
KO,
number one.
good?
Okay, all right. You by KO. By KO, you're on.
By KO.
Pie bet, son. You're
Georgie,
Derek,
I have so much respect for you today.
Mikey wins by decision.
Yeah, I know how the bet works, Robert. Yeah, I got it. So, yeah. So it doesn't matter who wins, but he's got to KO him. You're on, son. He ain't getting knocked out.
Georgie's like Tekashi this week. He's letting his nuts hang, baby. He's letting his nuts hang. Tekashi 6'9".
I gotta give him all.
Georgie 6'9". Georgie 6'9".
Georgie 6'9". Son, you're gonna get murked like Tekashi 6'9" did this weekend too. He got pistol.
He's letting his nuts hang.
He got sent to the hospital.
His nuts hang.
You know,
yeah.
You get you going against Titletown like that, son.
You want 22 ounces gloves.
We got to wear 22-ounce gloves for this one.
What it will take, what's going to take, baby.
Yeah,
Eric's going to get a 22-ounce pie in the face.
That's right. We got to do a 22-ounce pie in the face.
22-ounce pie in the face.
That'll be like a cake, won't it? That'll be like a big
cake.
Yeah, right.
Damn.
See if the bakery makes 22-ounce cakes, because you know they don't make them in boxing.
I just got another point to make. I want to know what's going to happen with the winner of Alexander and Berto.
What are you talking about, Georgie?
If he's gonna
who cares about that fight? Nobody cares about that fight. Devin Alexander and Andre Berto.
The Mafias pull what the winner against Spence and bypass the winner of DSG and Porter. If this is what's coming down the pipe,
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I hope not.
I hardly doubt it that the winner of Port and DSG gonna face Spence. I think they're gonna give him Alexander never been shit or fucking past the heel fucking Berto.
Eric, is he serious that Andre Berto is going to fight Devin Alexander?
Yeah, that fight's happening. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay.
But don't tell that to Jason, because Jason's gonna say that PBC put the best fucking matches out there. Ain't gonna find nothing wrong with that crap.
Right,
Oh
he loves that matchup.
Now,
Yeah, he loves that matchup.
Fucking expense to the so-called #1 IBF, but there was no crap fight there.
He's gonna say it's a 50-50 fight.
He's gonna say
I can't
It's a
believe
50-50 fight. It's like I told Lamar Peterson was gonna get starched. He thought Lamar Peterson was gonna beat Errol Spence.
Jeez.
Told him he was gonna get starched, and I like Lamar Peterson.
Listen, Jamie gonna have a good fight in years. That's a bell right there. They're gonna get kidnapped. This dude not gonna find no competition whatsoever. He's gonna have, if he's lucky, he's gonna have like a Bradley career. That he fights, you know what I'm saying? Like Bob Arum did with the Pacquiao trilogy.
Berto Alexander is a crossroads fight. Oh my God!
Yeah, I just read that too.
Oh my God!
Moron.
Yeah.
So's Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell.
Jason said that Berto Alexander's a crossroads fight. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Okay. Put it on pay-per-view.
They're gonna
It's a
wear
pay-per-view
22 ounce
fight.
gloves for that fight. They're gonna wear 22 ounce
It's a
gloves.
pay-per-view fight.
Shouldn't even be sanctioned. They're both in a
You and Robbie on the undercard with 22-ounce gloves.
Listen, in the whole situation with the ass,
Oh my
gonna
God!
be one winner at the end. We don't know who's gonna be, but eventually one of the abs gonna succeed, because eventually the boxing gonna transition into the internet. There is no way around it. The HBO era, the Showtime era, they said he's like on his way out. On his way out. How many times fucking RM are gonna be recycling shit on Showtime?
You know who's on their way out, Georgie? You, son. You're on your way out next week because you're gonna take a pie in the face, baby. You're gonna take a pie.
22-ounce fight. 22 ounces.
Yours. And you know what? I'm gonna make sure it's 22 ounces. We're gonna personally weigh it before we slam it right into your face. All right, 22 ounces.
22-ounce pie.
Cream pie. That's just gonna slide down your face afterwards.
Okay, here you
It's
go.
on, son.
We'll see you next week, George.
You done
Good
made a
call.
mistake. You should have never showed up to call today. You should not have called today.
Listen, everybody up there, support the channel with a thumb up. You don't have to donate unless you want to donate for the fund that we got for Robbie, so he can join us in the 21st century.
I want everyone. We're gonna start a Robbie the Zone fund.
The Me Too, the Robbie hashtag.
Robbie the Zone fund. Okay.
That's right.
All donations, jhabib1@hotmail.com.
You, George. Oh my.
I'll make sure it gets to Robbie. I promise.
Oh, wow.
I'll screenshot the transactions.
Too much. You guys are too much.
Wow.
Jeez.
One of the funds I'm going to be working on is Jason Shaw, the 22-ounce glove fund.
He's a fucking mental case, is what he is.
He's a fucking metal case, is what he is.
Hey, Mr. 22 ounce, how are you?
Always fucking bashing out
What's up, 22 ounce?
22 ounce. What
22 ounce, what's up?
Where you guys spar with 22 ounce gloves?
What's up, 2-2? What preschool did you go to where you see two kids fighting with 22-ounce gloves?
Floyd say he used that 22-ounce gloves.
Yeah. What gym you spar at? What gym you spar at that you wear 22-ounce gloves to? Where did you get your 22-ounce gloves?
I just told you. Floyd had a bunch of times used the 22-ounce gloves. What the hell are you talking about? Why would I lie about that? That's like, why would I lie about that? I don't
That's
care.
Brock Lesnar was.
You don't know.
Brock Lesnar was sparring the other day with 40-ounce gloves.
No, Beeb, I just sent Eric links of 22-ounce gloves online and stories about Berto and Curtis.
The link was for Toys R Us.
I mean, I don't have a reason to lie about that.
Oh my God. How old are the kids we were using those? Like 7? Big spar wars with 7. Big spar wars with 7-year-olds.
I only fought bare knuckle. I've never sparred.
Not even
You only fought bare knuckle, like in 5th grade or what?
I've never used gloves. I've never used gloves. Only beat up.
Did you beat her? Did you beat her when you fought bare knuckle? Or was it like split decision by her?
Did the teacher break you guys up before you guys finished? What happened?
Did she get the decision on you, or did you knock her out?
I guess that seems to be the big. Speaking of that, the zone. If WBSS and Bellator weren't on there, I don't think we would be even talking about the zone, because what has Eddie really done for them? Andrade and Vargas, these guys are like no names. Nobody really tunes in to watch them. They're like B-sides. And
yeah, I mean, I would watch a Joshua fight. I would watch a Joshua fight, but the WBSS, I mean, that's what's carrying it. I mean, in my opinion, anyway, that's what's carrying it. So, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think Eddie Hearn can mess with it. I mean,
Richard Schaefer has done more for the zone than Eddie Hearn, and that's probably got to burn Eddie inside. He's looking rough these days. I mean, he needs to take a chill pill real quick. He needs a vacation. He's looking rough. Did you guys see fucking Steve? Never mind. I'll wait for that later. But he said Jesse Warzigas is going to be fighting Adrian Granado, somebody like that, in Chicago. He said he wants all Mexican. He wants to bring out the Mexican crowd and stuff.
Yeah, because somebody said he was going to fight. He was looking to fight Ricky Burns or whatever.
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
like, yeah, that's not a good fight, man.
But
I like Granados and Vargas. That's a good fight.
He said Granados or Peterson, somebody at that level.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Those are. Yeah, but main event, do you think those fights will sell? He's trying to do big events. Do you think that'll sell?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to go to Chicago for that fight.
How much of a fan base can Vargas and Andrade have in Chicago? Like, I don't think that many people know them in Chicago.
Well, PBC is smart because what they do is they put the Chicago guys on the card.
Is from Chicago, isn't he?
Right. Well, they put the Chicago guys on the card, but the other thing they do is they put the Polish guys on the card because there's a big Polish contingent in Chicago. So, I mean, and they really bring them out. So that's what PBC does right. That's where we saw like Spilska and stuff like that come out. And that's what they do. But, and Eddie Hearn, you know, is he going to be privy to that? Is he going to put Polish people on the card? I don't know. You know, does he have any Polish guys to put on the card, you know?
Maybe Eddie can call Selecki back since he lost to Jacobs. I don't think he's fought. Maybe they can bring him back.
Selecki's a good fighter, man. Selecki's a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's all right. He looked kind of weak against Jacobs, but Mikey versus Easter. Do you know all the undercard fights, or you only know where he's in the?
No, we gave him.
Parker. You know?
Oh, for you talking about for? Okay, hold on. You talking about for Parker? Let's see
Mikey
here.
Easter.
Mikey Easter. Yeah, yeah. Louis Ortiz, Razvan Kajanu, Mario Barrios versus Jose Roman, Jamonte Clark versus Terrell Williams, Fabian Maidana. I've got he's on the card. Carlos Balderas, Wesley Diana, Jose Balderas. So no, a lot of unknowns like prospects, but that's what they do. I mean, that's what, you know, like you'll see like those 4-round fights and the 6-round fights that are like all prospects. I want to see Jamonte Clark. That's like a good one.
That's like a UFC model, right? Kind of like a UFC model.
No, not really, because they don't really have prospects on there. They have like established fighters. They have people new to the UFC, but typically they'll have like established fighters on there. Oh, and just by the way, guys, Kell Brook did pull out of that fight. Sam Eggington is now going to take over
like weeks ago,
to fight Cook.
Weeks ago.
Yeah, Nacho told us that when he called in earlier, Eric.
I didn't hear him say that.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Hey, stop piling on Eric, please. He's trying to host the show. How many shows do you host? How many shows do you host?
Piling on Eric. Eric's a good guy.
Yeah, I was still on cloud 9 from that 22-ounce gloves.
Tell me about that Showbox card last Friday, man, or last Sunday. Thanks for telling me.
It's not Eric's fault. He was in a vicious sparring match with 22-ounce gloves. He caught one on the temple. Caught one on the temple with a 22-ounce shot.
Nacho was fucking poo-pooing his competition. I mean, that guy's just fucking coming up. He only had, like 20 fights? I mean, like, the guy he fought last night was not a total bum. He was like 13 or 14-0, right?
Yeah, but he dominated him. It wasn't even close.
It looked pretty good. Like, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. He needs to fight 30, 40 more bums like Canelo did on his way up, you know? That's what he needs to do. Why not? Take the Canelo blueprint. No, I'm sure Nacho won't have any problem with that. He's going to cheer that on. I mean, I don't know why you're going to poo-poo a guy's performance. I mean, that's his first big fight on TV. He looked amazing to me. He looked like a young Broner to me. Could you guys see that? The way he was fighting?
Who?
Yeah.
The guy last night.
Ennis.
Yeah, Jaron Ennis on Showbox. I don't know if Eric
On
watched him. Eric
Showbox
never
on
watches
Friday.
boxing live. He's not a real boxing fan.
I never watched boxing live.
He watches Disney and WWE like a
It's all
moron.
good.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
when you got kids, that's what you got to do, Jason.
Yeah,
right.
I
Hey,
guess.
Georgie.
I guess.
Georgie,
Can't
take a
back
look
for-
at the shine, buddy. The belt's staying right here. There it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Easter's about to lose that last belt Ohio has, so you better kiss that thing goodbye, Eric.
Well,
All right,
remember,
listen,
Eric
man, I'm
can
not
get-
disagreeing with
and
you.
Remember, Jason, Eric can get behind Montana Love now.
Yeah, I like
Who's that?
Montana Love. He was on the Showbox
He
card,
was-
son.
he
You were
was-
supposed to watch
he
it.
Was he was the first guy on the Showbox card on Friday.
How cool is that name, Montana Love? I'm
Yeah.
gonna change my name to
Look at-
Montana
Did you guys
Love.
see what happened with Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia? Teofimo Lopez was like doing a bunch of interviews last night for the Munguia, like behind the scenes with Ellie Segback and
It's your
like he
boy.
said Ryan Garcia is the biggest hype job in boxing. He said Ryan Garcia can't back up any talk. He said Tank would kill him. And then Eric Gomez said, I'm not going to allow that sparring to happen. They know Ryan's going to get destroyed if Tank ever got his hands on him.
Ellie Sec back. Ellie Sec back.
And
Ellie
Beeb,
Sec
Beeb,
back.
don't you think it's harder to
That's what I'm
fucking,
putting your
knock
new
out
theme
somebody
music.
in 16-ounce gloves and body gear and stuff and headgear?
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah, so that kid Mensa last night, I mean, I think Machado should have knocked him out if he really has that serious power. Because don't you think that kid would have been knocked out by Tank in like 4 rounds maybe, by like Jesus Cuellar was?
I don't know.
It's
I think
hard,
the fight should have
it's
been
hard to say, man. That kid was pretty tough.
Yeah. I think the fight should have been stopped.
Yeah, but he was tough because Machado didn't have that special power like Tank, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Tank,
Tank's definitely stronger.
Tank's,
for sure.
Tank's we could argue Tank's the hardest puncher in the division.
Yeah.
You can argue that.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, he would have gotten Mensa out of there. But
No.
I know Machado is skillful. He's
I like Tank, man.
there was, yeah.
I would pick Tank over Machado. I think it'd be a tough fight, but I think he'd win. I'd pick Tank over him.
Yeah,
I like Tank. I like Tank a lot.
Tank just had a daughter 2 days ago.
Congratulations, Tank.
I hope he stops hanging out with
Put
Broner.
me on the register. I'll get you something nice.
Also, Beeb, your boy Takashi got robbed and kidnapped and pistol whipped in New York, man. What's up?
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, that's
that
been confirmed by a
confirmed?
bunch of spots. Yeah, that's been
Really?
a bunch of spots.
My man,
Yeah.
Takashi. Wow.
Whipped and,
Wow. Took an L, Takashi. Took an L. You should have called up Beep Industries. We would have got you a nice security system for that house.
a security system. It happened somewhere in like Brooklyn or
But,
something like that.
That happened right in front of his house.
His new single and
Wow.
he just dropped his new single with Nicki Minaj today. It could be like promotion. I don't know.
Maybe it was Suge Knight. Maybe Suge Knight did him like he did what's his name? Vanilla Ice. Throw him off the balcony or something
He's
like
in
that.
jail, dude. He's in jail.
That's
jail.
why
Well,
they
he's got
call it
people.
Ice, baby.
Suge Knight's got long arms, baby. He can reach.
God,
He can reach to the outside.
prison.
Yo, Beeb, I need to talk some Wilder with you. You've been I saw your video you made about Showtime needing to push Wilder to more and stuff. I didn't really get that. Why does Showtime need to push Wilder more? I mean, they're pushing him. They're giving him like.
No, what I think they should do. I'm not saying they should push him more. They should invest in him more. Why not just give him a contract, man? Give him a nice contract with a guaranteed minimum. I mean, they gave Anthony Joshua a contract. Why can't they give why can't they give Wilder a contract?
Because you want Anthony, you want Deontay Wilder to be a big star because he's a U.S. heavyweight. You want him to be a big star. That's why it matters.
Yeah, but contract's not going to make him a bigger star, is it?
Yeah, it will because they'll have to promote him then.
They are promoting him.
Yeah. I mean,
Jason, you're never gonna win this argument with me. I'm always gonna put the fighter before the promoter. For years in this sport, fighters have been getting ripped off, and promoters and advisors and managers have been ganking fighters for years. I'm not going to defend a manager or a promoter over a fighter ever. Never. Ever, 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 ever. And I don't think you really should. I think if you are really a fan of the sport, you pay to watch the fighters fight. You don't pay to watch Steven Espinosa do anything. I respect Steven Espinosa. This is no shade on him. But I pay to watch Deontay Wilder fight. I don't pay to watch Steven Espinosa do anything. What he does, I appreciate it, but that's behind the scenes. Deontay Wilder is the one that's getting punched in the face, not Steven Espinosa. That's just the way I see it.
He made 2.5 million for his last fight, which is great money. Why were we complaining about him making 2 million?
I'm not complaining about it. What I'm saying is they need to get behind him. So when this negotiations comes around, when this second round of negotiations comes around, right? Showtime needs to step up and get behind Wilder and maybe throw some money in the pot.
Right.
They need to win. They need to win the right to broadcast this fight because now they got to compete against the zone. So that's what I'm saying. They got to step their game up. They got to put some cash up in order to get the rights because they already lost Joshua to the zone. Okay, so they need to make
the biggest unification fights don't happen on fucking apps. They happen on TV. First of all, second of all,
I understand that, but let's not let the zone set a precedent.
Alabama, how is he going to promote himself like Floyd and Manny? They used to live.
Because if the fight's in the UK, right? If this fight's going to be in the UK with Joshua and Wilder, okay, it's not going to be on pay-per-view in the US. So if they take Joshua and Wilder and they put it on DAZN instead of Showtime, that's going to be because Showtime did not put up enough money to win the rights to get that fight on Showtime. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They need to step up and put Eddie Hearn in his place and let him know. Just like Eddie Hearn got outbid with the other fight. There was that fight there, the Pulev fight. Showtime needs to outbid him in this fight because unfortunately, you know, it's not gonna be on pay-per-view in the United States. So Deontay Wilder is going to have to take the Eddie Hearn money. But Eddie Hearn had said, if other networks outbid us, we're not going to tell our fighters they can't fight on those other networks. So in this case, that's why I'm saying Showtime needs to step up to make sure that we get to watch this fight on Showtime instead of DAZN. That way we could save $10.
That's not what you said in the video. You said that.
That's exactly what I said in the video. They need to invest in it monetarily.
Because I fucking told you were wrong. Don't change the subject now. Come on.
What am I wrong about?
That's not what you said in the video at all.
No, so you don't want Deontay. So you think Steven Espinosa should be making more money than Deontay Wilder? That's fine. Okay.
Who should be making who? Who did you say?
You want Steven Espinosa to make more money than Deontay Wilder because he's taking the punches. That's fine.
How you don't know?
You don't sound really good here, Jason. You don't sound too good here. You sure you want to stay on this topic? I'm starting to get embarrassed for you right now. You sure you want to stay on this topic? I'm giving you an out. You want to change the topic? You want to change the subject?
Well, you have the statement for Espinosa's yearly income and stuff.
Well, you seem to be more concerned about Espinosa's success than you do Deontay Wilder's. So why would you do that? Why would you be concerned about what Espinosa's doing instead of what Deontay Wilder's doing? Why would you not want to see the fighter get taken care of before the promoter or the advisor or the executive?
If I can get in here for a minute, the only Steven Espinosa is you have to promote the Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua fight correctly, and they're not doing that because they didn't keep Joshua on Showtime. Now,
what do you mean they didn't keep Robbie? They had no plan of staying there because Eddie had to open this big app. He has no other talent. Joshua was the flagship guy there. Who else would he?
Ridiculous. If you're going to promote the biggest heavyweight fight in boxing history, which this could be, if it's promoted correctly, you keep Joshua on Showtime. You don't put him on a telephone.
But listen, Robbie, let's go back to the Max Kellerman AJ interview. He said, I will not be rushed to fight Wilder maybe till 2019, 2020. So he's going to go fight on DAZN.
That wasn't with Max Kellerman.
And also
wasn't with Max Kellerman, that interview. That's wrong.
Let me finish.
Correct yourself. That wasn't with Max Kellerman. That was on that was IFL TV.
Espinosa needs to support Wilder more. Espinosa just gave Wilder his career high payday. So why are you talking about Espinosa like he's not helping Wilder? He just gave him his career high payday, Beeb. You know that, right?
He deserves to have a guaranteed contract with a guaranteed minimum. That's my opinion.
That means nothing.
He's being loyal to Showtime So Showtime should step up and give him a 6-fight deal. Not obviously not to the level of Floyd Mayweather, but Showtime took a risk on Floyd Mayweather. They gave him that guaranteed money. And it was rumored that they were losing money in the beginning of that deal, right? But they made it all back because of the Pacquiao fight. So put up some hard cash for Wilder, right? And you'll make the investment, and you'll get it all back when he fights Joshua. Same blueprint. That's all I'm saying. Same blueprint. Wrong or right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Yes or no? Am I wrong?
What? So what?
That's not that. The multiple choice answers were wrong or right. Not so what?
I just don't see why what this argument has to do with the AJ and Wilder fight. It has nothing to do with it. It's like nonsense. It has nothing to do with it.
They need to step up and invest in Wilder so they can ensure that he gets the Joshua fight. Do everything in their power to make sure he gets the Joshua fight. Get behind him.
Dude,
Whether that and they need to say to Eddie Hearn, they need to, just like Les Moonves stepped in for Pacquiao Mayweather with CBS, and as we all know, CBS is the parent company for Showtime. That's what you need. You need them to get behind Wilder. They're not aggressive enough in trying to help make this fight, in my opinion.
$50 million
That's what I'm saying.
$50 million offer. Was that Showtime and Heyman, or was that Eddie?
I don't know if I don't know if that was Showtime's money. I don't know if that was Showtime's money. Do you have a statement from Espinoza?
You have Espinoza's income.
You sure you want to keep going? This looks bad, man. This is bad.
I agree.
This is on the internet. What goes on the internet stays on the internet. It's forever. People are going to go back and listen to this. You may get fired for your job. They may think you're not that smart.
Man. Thank you for the
this
call.
This can hurt your career.
All right, Jason. I love you, but you were getting demolished here. It was a rough night for you. It's a rough night for you. Hey, listen, but the good news.
Your boss may go back and listen to this video, and he may think you failed a couple drug tests while you were on this show. You may think you're an addict. I mean, I don't want you to lose your job. You sure? I mean, the internet's forever. It's not going to go away.
Look, I still think if you want to promote the Joshua Wilder fight correctly, it was a bad move by Eddie Hearn to take Joshua off of Showtime. I mean, if he's supposed to fight April 13th in London against Wilder, you need to have the Povetkin fight on TV to build up the Wilder fight. This app is a bad idea. I mean, this move is a bad idea. It's wrong.
Oh.
We'll find out. We'll find out very shortly.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
That's right. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that's a rough night for Jason. That was a rough night for Jay. You know, if Georgie and I would have bet on that call, title may be going to Georgie right now. Problem is, title staying right here in Titletown, son. Georgie done messed up.
It'll be California dreaming.
That's what Georgie's doing. Is California dreaming. That's what he's
doing. I almost feel like taking the pie bet myself too. I want to be in this. I want to be side by side with Georgie in this one.
Honestly, you should be the number one contender. You should really be the number one contender. Georgie's had a ton of shots.
I know.
Beeb,
he's had a lot of shots.
Dance? Should we make this a three-way dance? You want in on this?
You know what? I'm going to jump in on this too.
Beeb's in.
I'm in. Georgie inspired me tonight.
It's a three-way dance. The bet is.
You got to buy me brownie. You got to buy me a 20.
Got to knock it out.
A 22-ounce coconut cream pie.
Now, Beeb, you know more about boxing than Georgie. Do you think Mikey Garcia will actually knock out Robert Easter?
No. Well, that's what he's betting. He's got to think that. That's what he's betting.
I'm not even sure. I'm just jumping in the pot with Georgie because he inspired me.
Second.
Okay,
Beeb likes taking the pie in the face. He likes it. That's what he does. All right, we are on overtime here. I'm going to 480 in Phoenix. 480, you're live.
Hey, what's up, fellas? It's Brandon from Phoenix.
Brandon, what's happening?
Brandon.
Man, you know, I'm gonna keep it kind of quick because I don't really have anything else to say about the fights that everybody else hasn't already said from the weekend. You know, when Gia looked good, he's still a little green. You know, Usyk's the top man at cruiserweight. You know, I just really kind of wanted to talk about the DAZN app, man, because that seems to really be the hot button issue of today's show. And I'm with Eric, man. I think I'm probably gonna get it because basically,
10 seconds.
Like him, the sticking point is gonna be the world boxing series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, you know, to me, that's the most quality that any boxing provider is providing us with is the World Boxing Super Series. I mean, Showtime has had good fights. HBO is really not a boxing network anymore.
No,
and I haven't really been impressed with anything that ESPN Plus has put on their platform.
That's correct.
If you look at everything that Top Ranks actually put on ESPN, there's probably been about three, maybe four really good fights. When you say, you know, Lomachenko versus Linares probably being the best fight.
Yeah.
Crawford going for undisputed. And
That's
then,
right.
The first Gilberto Ramirez fight against Jesse Hart, you know, I'm kind of reaching there. And then what else? And then the Ray Beltran fight. You know what I'm saying? But that was it. And, you know, everything that they've had on Plus, it's not hitting. So I think that as long as Eddie can deliver, you know, with the World Series of Boxing being the quality, and then you got everything that he's going to give you, the Sky cards or whatnot, depends on what the quality of some of the Sky cards are. And we know that those are kind of up and down. You know what I'm saying? His American additions to the platform are basically kind of like, you know, the sweetener for the deal. Because I would have been interested even if he didn't sign these people. If it was just the World Boxing Super Series and then I got every, you know, Sky Maximum card, I would be interested in just that. You know what I'm saying? So,
but this is also a bad move if you're going to promote Joshua and Wilder, having Joshua fight on DAZN.
You know what, Robbie? I agree with you. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world for that one particular fight. But if you're Eddie Hearn, this is a much bigger deal than just that one fight. And so I understand why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, as a boxing fan, would I like to see the fight next? Of course I'd like to see the fight next.
Yeah.
But he's basically gotten this huge war chest to, you know, help get this platform off the ground going into whatever the future of TV is going to be, because TV as we know it, it's not going to be the same in the next 10 to 15 years. And I know this firsthand. I'm an installer. You know, I install satellite TV. So, you know what I'm saying? I know what the industry is looking like and what the curve of it is. So, you know, Eddie has a chance to get in at the ground floor with his own. And if they can turn this platform into a big thing, that's a much bigger deal for Matchroom than just this one fight. So, you know, I can't really I'm really not too mad at them for what they're doing because they have all this money behind them trying to get this platform going, you know. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. It's big business. You know what I'm saying? And that's
I hear you.
Going to make the moves, make the world go round. But other than that, I got Mikey next week smoking Robert Easter. Robert Easter hasn't looked good in probably like his last 3 fights. So I don't think it's going to be all that competitive. Well,
do you think he knocks out Robert Easter
next week? I wouldn't bet money on it, but I'd probably say it's like a 40% chance. Mikey hits pretty hard, and Easter likes to crouch in. You know, Easter doesn't sit at the end. Easter will sit there in the pocket and try to swing with you.
He's gonna walk into something. He's gonna lean right into the big left hook or the big left uppercut.
Into nothing.
Watch.
I mean, Mikey's an exact puncher, and you know, if you're a crisp puncher like that, and you know, Easter doesn't have the most solid defense in the world. And like I said, he doesn't maintain distance very well. Mikey will be able to get in on the inside and, you know, set his feet and let one go. So it's a possibility. I mean, Easter. Tell me the last time Easter looked good, when he fought Comey, and that was a close fight. Yeah. That was a real close fight when he fought Comey. He hasn't looked good in any of the title defenses. A lot of people thought he lost to Shavakov. He didn't look good against Fortuna. And who else he fight? Where are his other title defenses?
Well, he shines in Titletown, buddy. That's all I'll say.
All right. All right. Oh, real quick, Eric.
Yes.
I got a question. Well, it's not necessarily for Eric, but for anybody else on the panel. What else is DAZN offering other than just boxing?
Bellator. I think they're doing Bellator MMA is going to be on DAZN. And I think they have. I don't know what other. I don't know what other sports.
A lot of soccer, Eric. A lot of soccer is going to be on that too.
A lot of soccer. Yeah, so that'll be good. Yeah, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Okay. Okay.
Shouldn't be too bad.
I'm gonna investigate it a little bit for myself to see what I'm really getting into. I'm interested to see how the platforms are. What I'm really interested to see is if they will stream in 4K, because if they can stream live sporting events,
Oh, that'd be
4K,
nice.
That could be a very big upper hand, because the only people that are doing that right now is DirecTV, and that's every once in a while. That's not all the time. Like certain, like the World Cup was in 4K.
It was
here and there. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But anyway, man, that's my call, man. I'll let y'all next week or so or something. All right, man?
Okay,
all right. Thank you, sir.
All right, now.
And I was going to go to Corey Lee, and Corey Lee dropped. That sucks because the phones are out now. Just as well.
He can't get back in now.
I know, man. We were looking forward to hearing Corey. Check Corey Lee out on Corey Lee Boxing on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and go to Corey Lee Boxing. And he's got a banger of a show. Beeb, you do a lot better than I do.
Banger!
Yeah. All right. I don't think I went over the rest of the news. Manny Pacquiao had a heart defect. According to his PR manager, Pacquiao complained about difficulty breathing numerous times during training. He was rushed to the hospital in Manila 7 days before his bout. Doctors conducted some tests, including an ECG and all this other doctor stuff. During the procedure, a long, flexible tube, catheter, was inserted into his arm all the way up to his heart. X-rays were taken based on the medical information. I guess the dye or whatever will let you know what clogs or narrow spots or whatever. They didn't release a specific condition, but his publicist noted that doctors diagnosed Pacquiao with an inborn heart ailment, whatever that means. I don't know. They also advised him to call off the fight with Matisse. Pacquiao said no. He said he protested. He signed a waiver in Manila, flew to Malaysia a couple days later, and after being hospitalized, he didn't train until 2 days later. The doctors in Malaysia didn't catch the heart ailment. Pacquiao obviously was cleared to fight, and he didn't release this. This is a big deal. I mean, this is a big deal if he fought and he, you know.
With this coming out, Eric, I wonder if Manny Pacquiao should continue fighting. I mean, everybody said last week when we talked about this that maybe he had one more fight in him. Well, maybe his body's telling him no, he doesn't.
Yeah, well, Pacquiao says he came on, took to Instagram, I think it was, this week and said, quote, I, through MP Promotions, will be handling any and all negotiations for my next fight. Nobody is also authorized to speak on my behalf. You know my number. Call me. Pacquiao wrote on his Instagram on Saturday. So does this mean he's done with Top Rank, I guess? I guess he's finished with Top Rank. And how many fights is he actually going to get authorized with a known heart condition now?
That's what I'm saying. This reminds me of that situation with, remember when Evander Holyfield fought Michael Moore, and after the Michael Moore fight, he said he had a heart problem, but then he got checked out again, and they found out that it wasn't really a heart problem.
Yeah. Well, you remember Evander Holyfield had a heart problem, and then that faith healer, healed him, I guess. But he claimed he was it Benny Hinn? I think it was.
Benny Hinn, yeah. Benny Hinn.
He had claimed Holyfield said he was healed or whatever, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find his YouTube channel at beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. On Twitter, I'm at Ringside73, and we will see you next week.
All right.